And trying to put a stop to that is this Ottawa REDBLACKS defense. A lot of their burden is going to fall on the line of scrimmage, where Mike Wakefield is one of the leaders of this Ottawa D.
You wouldn't know it from that shot, but he's the jokester of the group as he gets everybody fired up inside that defensive line group. And there's Bob Dice watching on. He says they reduced the period time this week at practice coming off the bye, but ratcheted up the intensity. And Buck Pierce, of course, you see they're 3-3 on the road so far. He said coming to Ottawa, one of his favorite cities in the Canadian Football League to coach a football game. Lots of history, beautiful city, enjoys the game day experience. We'll see if he enjoys getting out of here with a victory as the BC Lions won the toss and they decide that they are going to take the football here as it drops down to the Lions 20-yard line. We're underway on Friday Night Football, tackled out at the 41-yard line, and Nathan Rourke hits the field with an opportunity to continue pushing to new heights the level of Canadian quarterbacking.
Yeah, again, Nathan Rourke looks much more comfortable, I think, this season than he did at any point in his return in 2024. He has this team on a groove, both throwing the football. He's been terrific using his legs as a weapon as well.
Enters this game just 175 yards back of Russ Jackson's mark in 1968 for passing yards. We'll see if he gets there as the night rolls on. BC begins through the air. Rourke rolls to his right, flips it underneath to another BC Canadian. As you see, Justin McInnes make the grab and plunge his way forward towards the first down markers. We get a look at the rest of the Lions starting out.
Yeah, along that offensive line, the veteran Mike Couture back at his center spot. Simon Fraser product. In the receiving corps, keep an eye on Aiden Eberhardt, third in the Canadian Football League in terms of yards per catch. 7 catches of 30-plus yards for him on only 44 targets this season. Didn't exactly anticipate he'd be the big play guy. And how about this, just the second snap offensively in the return of Jeremiah Masoli, former Red Black, now running the short yardage package for the BC Lions as he tries to plunge his way over the top. Robert Priester there throws him backwards. They'll be close. See where the spot is as Nathan Rourke confidently trots off the sideline. Well, it doesn't seem to be a ton of the usual pointing in the opposite direction from the Ottawa D. So Buck Pierce gets back onto the call sheet there, knocking things off as Jeremiah Masoli makes his way back. Went through some serious long-term injuries that really disrupted his signing coming over from the Hamilton Tiger Cats when they chose Dane Evans. And now he is a BC Lion backing up Nathan Rourke and this BC offense as Rourke, quick throw to the outside. It is complete. And it's Stanley Berryhill getting onto the stat sheet here as the Ottawa defense struggling against the passes in tough tonight against Rourke and company. As we take a look at this Ottawa defense, keep an eye on Blessman Ta'ala. He'll get some snaps at that defensive tackle spot. Cleon Lang put on the 6-game injured list this week. The Lions 2024 Rookie of the Year nominee, Ayinde Eli, will start at the weak side linebacker spot for Ottawa. And former Toronto Argonaut acquired via trade Mark Milton starts at the field halfback position. Yeah, a pair of former Toronto Argonauts at halfback here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. And Priester and Milton acquired via trade as Rourke wants to go for a run, thought about ripping it outside. And he will get wrapped up, and the Ottawa defense stands tall as looks like Javon Santos knocks right in the middle of the fray as always. Yeah, lane opened up here, but not to the extent I think that Nathan Rourke might have anticipated. Good job by Santos Knox. We know how slippery Nathan Rourke can be when he gets out on the perimeter. You do get an appreciation for just how talented the Ottawa defense is and how much they'd like to be able to make plays. As you see, flying up the field is Adarius Pickett. Here comes Javon Santos Knox. Oh, look, there's Bryce Carter all at once, closing things down on Nathan Rourke as the kick comes up and drifts out of bounds. Flag will come up as well as Ottawa sent out a 2-man return. Darius Pickett back to return, and that kick not going to help from Carl Myers. Dustin Crum and the REDBLACKS offense hit the field for the first time. 277 yards in his last outing against Edmonton here at home 2 weeks ago. Dustin Crum, a pair of weeks ago, before the Red Blacks hit the bye, 26-year-old out of Grafton, Ohio, 23 of 29, and what was a pretty effective performance, but his rushing yardage as well. Running through defenders like this, it was more than Daniel Adamaboye and William Stanback combined in that one, Dwayne.
Yeah, flashbacks to Dustin Crum in his rookie CFL season. Certainly getting out on the run a little bit, but also very important to note, Dustin Crum's best game of the season passing the football by far, both in terms of yardage and completion percentage.
Trying to refine his game a little bit more, not just rely on the legs, but he'll begin with the athleticism around the edge here. Beats Matthew Betts around the corner. Comeback route down the sideline, and incomplete as Carter Jr. knocks it away right on the spot as we get a look at the Red Blacks starting offense.
Yeah, and look for Ottawa to try and establish the line of scrimmage here offensively. Drew Desjardins certainly one of the people they will look to in that regard. And in the receiving corps, Gino Lewis, a couple of 100+ yard receiving games for the well-traveled veteran.
There's Bladdock, right guard, gets replaced by Jacob Ruby on this offensive line as Crum goes to work and the pocket collapses. Flag is up as well. But flying into the backfield here, it looks like J.R. Tavai is the one that brings them down. That entire pass rush, the D-line caved it in on Ottawa.
Illegal contact, BC, number 8. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down Ottawa.
And his return to the lineup, Jalen Edwards-Cooper has the call go against him.
And we'll see, watch number 2, Justin Hardy on the left side of your screen. Edwards-Cooper just lingering with him locked up there a little too long.
Do everything I could to slow down Justin Hardy as well. He's been pretty amazing in his seasons here in the Canadian Football League as Edwards-Cooper, part of this BC Lions starting defense.
And on the defensive line, Sione Tehema out of the lineup. Kamoko Toure, who's been part of that rotation, will make the start at D-end. Deontay Williams, who had been playing the field halfback spot, moves back to nickel, where he started the season. Jalen Edwards-Cooper and Cam Stone. A new combination on the boundary side. Edwards-Cooper had been out of the lineup. Stone in for Gary Peters, who had been a game-time decision.
Yeah, he's dealing with a knee injury, limited throughout the week. As Braylon Addison, speaking of players back in the lineup, Addison dives across the 45-yard line. It's a first down for the Red Blacks. The offense starting to move with Crum's arm.
Yeah, Braylon Addison, such a reliable target. Former high school quarterback, guy who understands reading coverages, kind of seeing the game through that lens. Able to get on the same page as Dustin Crum.
As the petroleum engineer, Micah Awe stares down the aeronautical engineer quarterback. And Dustin Crum. Crum works the pocket, now steps up, wants to take off and run, and right on cue. It's two of the smartest guys on the field throwing their bodies into each other. Awe makes yet another tackle in his tremendous 2025 season as you see Drew Brown right over the shoulder of Tommy Condell in the booth.
Yeah, certainly helping out in any way he can. Ottawa's starting quarterback doing a stint here on the injured list.
Dustin Crum, his replacement, trying to find some rhythm with this Red Blacks attack. He's certainly got plenty of weapons, despite the fact they lost Nick Mardner in the preseason, having Gino Lewis and Justin Hardy, Braylon Addison, Khalil Pimpleton all in the lineup here as we see the injured BC Lion down and get up under his own power and make his way back to the sidelines as Khalil goes back to the visiting side here at TD Place on a beautiful evening. The wind still kicking for now into the face of the Ottawa Red Blacks. Chance of some rain. You know, Drew Brown's probably got his eyes on the Doppler radar, wondering how, when, and where the weather might impact Dustin Crum and the play calling of Tommy Condell.
Yeah, it was interesting being down at field level pregame, particularly when the specialists came out, watching the impact of this wind in the kicking game.
Some BC Lions orange moon here tonight as William Stanback, the former Lion, tries to plunge his way across the 40. Won't be good enough to pick up the first down yardage, as he had a resurgent 2024 campaign with 1,175 yards on the other side of this matchup here tonight, but this one gets turned around before the marker.
And you know, Ottawa would love to get their ground game going. That combination of William Stanback and Daniel Adeboboye and just sharing the load back there. Think about some of the opportunities that would open up for them offensively to use the mobility of Dustin Crump to its greatest effectiveness.
Yeah, the Dan and Stan show, 775 combined yards on the ground so far this year, is now Richie Leone gets set to punt, and they'll go onside with 3 different players to the left side of Leone, hung up in the air and received comfortably by the Lions as it across the 25-yard line. So Stephen McGee, as Nathan Rourke returns to the field, 3-game streak with 300 yards or more. Looking for another night of tremendous performance here on Friday Night Football. Well, the defense didn't hold up their end of the bargain, as it was a massive output for the Toronto Argonauts back a couple of weeks ago. But Nathan Rourke still crossing that 300-yard mark. As I mentioned, he's got a 3-game streak of it. He's done it in 7 of his last 8 games as well. So racking up the yardage, but most of the time because he's throwing, they're trailing, he's trying to fight his way back into the game.
Yeah, Lions a game under 500. The CFL standings, fighting to stay in that playoff picture.
Rourke goes with the hard count here, hands it off inside. The JV James Butler, at least 81 rushing yards in each of his last 4 games.
And can't say enough about this second go-round as a BC Lion for James Butler. I think it no doubt speaks to his character. When a player has left a team and that team decides we need that guy back, it says a lot about him, and certainly a guy who worked hard to make the most of this opportunity after being sidelined much of last year in Hamilton.
Greg Bell replacing him there with the Tiger Cats. Now is down goes Rourke. Tracked around, looks like Bryce Carter was first in, and then the cavalry arrived. So after a gain of 4 by James Butler on the ground, they tried to throw their way out of it. And Mufta Ajeli is the one who helps bring Rourke down and change field position.
And keep an eye on Ajeli from his D tackle spot. He's going to pick up some of that slack left in the absence of Cleon Lang. Rookie from Windsor, played most of his college career at Windsor before transferring to Northwestern Oklahoma State for his final season.
Again, another sidewinding kick. It comes from Carl Meyer, and Khalil Pimpleton trying to track it down. Central Michigan speedster, as flags come up on the play, will clear it up on the other side, but the Ottawa defense, a couple of possessions here, showing a little bit of fight, especially up front as Bryce Carter, plenty of pressure, and Ajeli finishes it off for the Red Blacks defense. Scoreless halfway through the first on Friday Night Football. There is one of the very best defenders in the entire Canadian Football League. One of the most interesting men in the league as well. With more for the first time, let's go down to Claire Hanna.
Well, Marsh, Micah Alway clearly has high football IQ. He leads the CFL in defensive tackles, but off of the field, he's also a brainiac. In fact, he has a degree in petroleum engineering. Now, you'd think football and engineering wouldn't be similar, but he says that he's pulled a lot of things from engineering to his football career. So, for example, in engineering, he'd see a problem that looked so complex, but when he broke it down, it was a bunch of simple things put together, sort of like his D-line. They might play a complicated style where it's hard to figure out where the gaps are, but if Alway just focuses on one player, he can simplify things into 1 or 2 moves. Guys.
Yeah, he is wildly interesting to talk to. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation we had with him this week. And the thing is, too, he's such a bright guy, so introspective, so well thought, so well spoken. And then he's just a thumper. Like when he gets out here, he's just running through people.
Heat-seeking missile.
His background, he told us, either eat or get eaten when you're playing high school ball down in Texas. And right now, I think there was a little bit of fear in Justin Hardy that he was about to get eaten.
Micah Awe, a guy who plays the game with a level of ferocity. The BC Lions were looking to add some physicality to their defensive identity this year, and certainly the combination of Awe and Deontay Williams has accomplished that. Top two guys on the team in terms of defensive plays.
As Richie Leone gets set to send this one away, with the wind again drifting into his face a little bit at the side right now, but certainly causing some havoc for the punters here in the nation's capital tonight. This one bounces across the 55 and is picked up by McGee. Is the Lion Kings the very top of their statistical categories around the Canadian Football League so far this season, and they are led by their man back at the fray. It is Nathan Rourke, passing yardage first in the Canadian Football League. Hey, he looks at home, right in the middle of the jungle, Savannah. Keon Hatcher, the first to be able to cross the 1K mark. He's done that in 3 of his first 5 seasons in the Canadian Football League. James Butler can run with anybody. He's proven that so far this season. And then there's Micah Awe. You never know who he's going to hit, right?
We've said this guy will hit anything. Running backs, quarterbacks, receivers. Is that a wildebeest? So, you know.
Yeah, my money's on Awe against the wildebeest, I gotta say. As here he goes across the 1,000-yard mark once again, as Rourke and Hatcher, their connection obvious so far throughout this season, and significantly improved, as we said, from the struggles of last season when Rourke returned to the Canadian Football League.
So, you know, 2 more of the Lions league leaders. So I don't want to call it a breakout season for Keon Hatcher, but be a tremendous comeback season. Would be a more appropriate description. He has been an absolute monster here in 2025.
8 of 19 on that play, and Hatcher had a season high 156 in week 11 against Montreal. Now they go back to the other big body receiver, as Justin McInnes picks up another Lions first down on first down.
Maybe a little bit of a slow start to the season this year based on the standard that Justin McInnes set last year, leading the Canadian Football League in receiving, but certainly finding his way as the Lions prepare for the stretch run.
Third in the Canadian Football League right now is McInnes, chasing Nick Dembski and Keandre Smith, who had a tremendous Labor Day as Rourke was watching on, but now Rourke slides his way all the way into the middle of this Ottawa defense, picks up another first down with his legs, and is all over the place using them this season. Quarterback rushing, an added element to Rourke's game that we very rarely talk about, but is always present.
Yeah, just a great decision here. Again, quick progression, probably didn't even get all the way through his reads, but sees that lane open up in front of him, knows where the first down marker is. Let's go get it and get a fresh set.
2 quarterbacks in this ball game tonight combined for 40 quarterback runs, scrambles. That's not the short yardage stuff. Running out of the backfield, Rourke had 21 coming in. Crum had 19. We'll tag another one on for number 12, as this time he'll hand it off and let James Butler do the hard work up in between the tackles. The Lions interior trying to get that push early on in this ball game. That one goes for a gain of 4.
Butler and Rourke, with both of those guys kind of ticking as they have this season. That's when you see the BC Lions offense operate at its highest level. Rourke able to move the pocket a little bit off play action, bootlegs, and so on, with the run threat that James Butler has presented.
First game of a home-and-home between these 2 teams this weekend. Next, this one up in the air, and it was tipped and incomplete. Looking for Justin McInnes, but for all the catch radius that McInnes has, he couldn't reach that one and get enough on it.
Yeah, McInnes again working out of the slot. 3 receivers set into the boundary here. Just unable to pull that one down.
CJ Colden, the nearest defender. What a hard route to defend, though. That corner, you just throw the brakes on and sit in the middle of the zone. Throw has to be inaccurate in order to take points off the board. It was that time for Rourke, and so now an 18-yard attempt will come from the ageless one, the money man. John White takes one step and knocks this through the uprights. Only 3 games separating first and fourth in the East. A big one here tonight in Ottawa. A low-scoring game right now on Friday Night Football between the Lions and the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Part of the reason for that is the work up front of the BC Lions defensive line. For more, here's Luke Wilson.
Yeah, right now it's been very interesting to see, but the BC Lions defensive line, they've been slanting a lot, or we used to call it pirating. So line up in one gap, and they'll basically rip right over. And the reason that they're doing that is to basically be, okay, we're trying to throw this offensive line off. So what I think you're going to see here very soon is Dustin Crum in Ottawa react by trying to roll out. They're going to pin the end and roll out. I'd be very surprised if on this drive you don't see some pocket movement by Ottawa, because that's how you get defensive linemen out of slanting, by moving the pocket.
Yeah, I got to try to use the athleticism right as well, Luke. It's the best part of Dustin Crum's game, and they've got to try and leverage that as we go throughout the evening. So 2 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Ottawa just 1 point in first quarters over the last 5 games. They have been notoriously slow starters, as this one stacked up by that front four, as Luke was just talking about. It's part of the reason, Dwayne, that the REDBLACKS right now sit at 3-8 and last in the East Division.
Yeah, little question to that. They've got to, you know, I mean, this is a team that has battled injuries in so many different places on their roster, but that's certainly one of the places where you're seeing the impact.
Anthony Gosling goes back to the sideline here. Is unable to create movement, so it's 2nd and 10. There's Mike Benavides dialing it up for the BC Lions defense. Trying to get back on track after 2 weeks ago, the massive performance offensively by the Toronto Argonauts and Nick Arbuckle. As Crom looks over the top, Gino Lewis, and this one fades past him as flags come up in the REDBLACKS backfield.
Yeah, pass sailing a little bit on Dustin Crum. His quarterbacks try to navigate this wind.
Holding, Ottawa, number 59. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
The penalty goes against Parker Moore, the right tackle, but it's the age-old question, right? When you have the wind going distinctly in one direction as a quarterback, would you rather throw as hard as you can into it because it holds it down, or throw with it at your back because you can just let, I mean, a lot of people say you'd like to throw into it because then it doesn't float on you, but that one floated going into the wind.
Yeah.
Richie Leone, a busy man in this first quarter as the Lions come after it, and he had to get that one away quickly. The Lions return it across the 40 and wrapped up and thrown down. The truth doesn't take sides. Lawyers do. The Rainmaker, all new Saturday at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on USA Network. Stream the next day on Crave. And it looks as though, for now, the REDBLACKS and their low offensive output is here to stay. It's been a struggle to get them going, and an emphasis throughout the week. You heard Claire Hanna in our pregame talking with William Stanback about how do you turn this around? How do you get more going? They tried to pound the rock. They tried to throw it downfield. Conditions not great here with the wind tonight, but running out of excuses for the REDBLACKS offensively to not come out of the tunnel, especially here at home, ready to go as James Butler gets another carry here on 1st down. Buck Pierce calling in the plays, leaning on Butler on the early down.
And again, a strategy that I think has served the BC Lions well offensively. Establish James Butler in that run game. When you look at a lot of their pass game with Nathan Rourke, oftentimes it's not just a simple drop back, but it is him getting on the move a little bit off, whether you're going read option or whether play action. But an opportunity for him to move, create some lanes, movement in the D-line.
Rourke rips this one, and it went off the hands of Justin McInnes. He'll want that one back, especially if the evening goes on and any of the wet weather shows up, because that was right in the midst of one of the top Canadian pass catchers.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty well-placed ball, but watching McInnes go off the field, he got a little bit of a limp, and I wonder if that caused him to hesitate as he kind of planted and looked to jump for that football. It seemed as if he may have tweaked something there on his attempted launch.
Working on that right knee a little bit, so we'll keep our eye on that one as we head into the second quarter. Last play of the first here, and Myers switching the field up this time First time he's gone to the field, trying to create a field position advantage for the BC Lions. Just a 3-zip game right now as the Red Blacks struggling to get going. We head to the second next.
Jet black hair with blonde ambition. Couple cool kids on a late night vision. Get old school, this a new edition. Bankroll, roll with no audition. Hurry up, babe, please get ready. Take too long and I might get ready. Need a little, you know what, to keep steady. Cause the night's so young and the post so heavy. Like it's that kind of night.
The numbers after 1 quarter of play. Bit of a meandering start to this one on Friday Night Football as the Lions dominating time of possession and missing a couple of explosive plays. But right now it feels like the defensive lines are really what's pushing the pocket against these two quarterbacks. Nathan Rourke and Dustin Crum, very different players you would think from the outside looking in. But I mean, they're kind of producing at the same level on the ground throughout this season. And the D-lines know that with the wind conditions. I got to shut them down.
Yeah, that's it. Try and keep them in the pocket, make them struggle with the wind throwing the football. As much as that has been a forte for Nathan Rourke, maybe a little bit of a challenge tonight. You know, we talked a little bit as well, Marsh, during the break about the maybe a bit of a slow start to this one, as you've got two of the teams who didn't play Labor Day weekend, maybe shaking off the rust of a bye week here.
I wonder what that feeling's like to sit around and watch all those crazy games last weekend. As again, the defensive front stacking up. This time Braylon Addison in the backfield. Reminds me of Willie Jefferson ahead of a game against Ottawa this year, where he said, it doesn't matter if it's Addison back there, William Stanback, Daniel Adebaboy, if you can stop downhill momentum before they can get the wheels turning, that is the key to run defense against the Red Blacks.
And the BC Lions certainly delivering that in the early going. And as you alluded to earlier, looking to answer the challenge after some defensive struggles against Nick Arbuckle and the Toronto Argonauts.
They reset the play clock here and get an extra second for Dustin Crum to work things through in the huddle. As one of the comments Bob Dice made over the last couple of weeks is the improved command at the line of scrimmage. They've given Crum a lot more freedom of expression, time to figure things out. Now what can he do with it, and will he have time to throw? Pressure's on, he escapes the pocket, cuts back. Now he can use the legs, and Crum with his biggest play of the ball game runs through an attempted tackle coming downhill. As it was Deontay Williams giving him a thump, but Crum just kept going.
And if you look in the middle, Josh Woods kind of got pulled to the left side of your screen, then over pursued the other way. I think very aware of not wanting to let Crum get towards the sideline. Crum ducking back towards the middle, takes a bit of a shot from Deontay Williams, as you said.
And a new season high in terms of rushing on a single snap for Dustin Crum. That one goes for 26. Now we'll throw it underneath Justin Hardy. And it's 2-on-2 right there as Woods brings down Hardy. We get a look at Dustin Crum and just what he can add to this Ottawa Redblacks offense, whether it's a called quarterback run or just a little bit of that freedom of expression I talk about, of having the confidence to take off.
Yeah, he sees an opportunity. The Lions had a twist on up front defensively, and it created a little bit of a seam, separation of levels. Deontay Williams wasn't looking to wrap up on that one. He was looking to strike.
Once again, Stanback turned around. It's a tackle for loss as the BC defensive line all over Stanback before he even got back to the original line of scrimmage. Barely got a yard from where he took the football away from Crum.
Yeah, interior of that defensive line. Jonah Tavai, Tomasi Lalile, Marcus Moore will be part of that rotation tonight with Dwayne Hendricks on the injured list.
As Leone sends it away. Again, the drifting wind at his back and playing that time with the returner, McGee. As he's wrapped up high, brought down, and Keon Hatcher in his last 4 games, 26 catches, 435 yards, and a pair of touchdowns, trying to ignite the BC Lions offense when we return to Friday Night Football in Ottawa. BC Lions have won 9 of their last 10 against Ottawa, and you think they would have a lot to cheer tonight if they could get a performance like this out of Keon Hatcher once again tonight after coming out of the bye. Hopefully the leg's a little bit more fresh, but he was consistent and relentless against the Argos.
Yeah, Keon Hatcher sort of battling through injuries last season that limited him, but you're seeing Hatcher with an opportunity to be the Lions' go-to guy, playing at 100% and really establishing himself among the league's elite pass catchers.
As Rourke fakes and flips underneath. That one incomplete. Knocked away as we see where Keon Hatcher Sr. ranks in the Canadian Football League right now. Also wild that his career high in 2023 was a little over 1,200 yards receiving. And look where he's at already at this point in the season. Like, he has a chance to do something really special this year.
Yeah, don't have to look far down the list to find Keon Hatcher in any receiving category this season.
He's on pace for a little over 1,600 yards coming into tonight. And if he does get to 1,651, it would be the most by any BC receiver since G. Roy Simon in 2006, who had 1,856. And an awkward play here for Javon Catoy as Rourke just tried to rip it underneath to him and got hit and then rolled up on.
Yeah, got that leg caught.
I'm trying to see. It looks like that was DeAndre Lamont that came downhill from his free safety position. Yeah, just an awkward bang-bang play.
Yeah, that left leg is bent awkwardly as he goes down. You see the grimace as he lands.
So Javon Catoy on the ground. We'll step away as they take a look at the former Langley Ram. Get ready for NFL Sunday Night Football action as the Ravens go up against the Bills. Go Bills! Tune in at 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific on TSN and CTV. Is this the year? JA17, we'll find out. As Javon Catoy, great to see him up onto his feet and walking to the sideline. Hopefully he comes back into the lineup. Here is the man that they call Big Cat.
He is a big cat.
Big guy, super skilled, and one of the many unique talents in this BC receiving group. Is now we get a chance to see Aiden Eberhardt not going for that 20 yards per catch average this time, but former Wyoming Cowboy wrapped up and thrown down. And it looks like the punting unit will come out. I joked with them this week, if they call a screen pass for you, are you turning it down saying, no, I'm not catching that one, don't ruin my yards per catch? He's like, no, man, we need everything we can get right now.
Yeah, need them all. Aiden Eberhardt having a terrific 2025 season. Great balance in the BC Lions offense. Everybody's sort of getting an opportunity to contribute in their own way. Buck Pierce talked to us this week about the desire to have versatility in all those players, guys who can do different things, and they have accomplished that this season.
Carl Meyer has another short kick that drops down. Flag comes out. And Khalil Pimpleton tries to turn the corner here. Gets all the way out to the 55.
There you go, Marco. Great work.
So right at midfield is where the Ottawa offense will get their opportunity here, barring the penalty yardage, kicking the football forward and back. It's just a 5-yard penalty expected here on likely a legal touch. We get a look at Ben Laddick. Every time I see Laddick, I can't believe how far he had dropped in the draft. It's my first time ever.
No yards, BC, number 29. It's a 5-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down, Ottawa.
I get it. The 2021 draft was a weird one, but that guy's better than 22nd overall.
Yeah, and he has certainly demonstrated that over the course of his career.
So just on BC's side of the field, best starting field position now for Dustin Crum and the Ottawa REDBLACKS offense. Still looking for their first point of the ball game here. Put a little bit of life into TD Place if they do. As Crum keeps on the original play that he had called. Little token fake inside and then thrown down. Ripping through the middle. That was Marcus Moore bringing down Crum for the loss.
And Crum never had a chance on this. Marcus Moore. From his defensive tackle spot, just a quick swim to the inside. Like Desjardins just overset a little bit too far outside on him, and Moore took advantage.
I said on Labor Day that the Argonauts had second in Stony Creek. I think this is second in Gloucester, maybe from here. As Crum works to the right, back to the left, and Justin Hardy thrown down once again. As Josh Woods is all over him, the swarming BC Lions defense. We did not see this from them in the game 2 weeks ago against Toronto.
Well, much to the pleasure of their leader, Mike Benavides. Defense swarming tonight, but it all starts with those guys up front. Dominating at the line of scrimmage. Makes it a whole lot easier for the guys on the back end when the offense is playing from 2nd and 20.
Again, BC sending a decent amount of pressure right up the middle as this one bounces off the shoulder pads, and it has to be double caught in the air by Seven McGee as he does get on top of it. And the BC Lions backed up deep in their own end after Josh Woods ripping Justin Hardy back the other way. The Lions D has come to play. A family-friendly week for Bob Dice, and it continues as you see Shaka running around the field with the coach earlier on. He got an opportunity to spend some family time this week, something that is too few and far between with the grind of coaching in professional football. But hey, bring your dog to work day. Not a bad day, is it, Claire?
Not a bad day at all. And Marsh, I don't think the timing of this bye week could have been any more perfect for head coach Bob Dice, because he got a chance to move his daughter Ava into residence at the University of Ottawa. Now, this was unique because his wife Amanda and 3 kids, they're based in Winnipeg, and when his son Tristan and daughter Brooklyn went to university, he wasn't able to help them settle in because CFL coaching duties. So Dice took Ava to the campus bookstore. They picked up supplies. They walked around campus to figure out where classes were going to be. And he says, as a coach, you know, you miss out on a lot of things like this. His advice to other parents: enjoy the time. They want to be with you, because at the end of the week, Ava couldn't wait for him to leave campus and get back to coaching, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. She was looking forward to living a little bit of the independent life, maybe, as there is an injured Red Black down on the field and Dice watches on. But it really did sound like he had found a little bit of peace throughout the bye week, and knowing this has been a difficult season so far, but anything is possible right now in the East Division, and he needed to kind of reset with the family.
Yeah, no, great for, I think any coach in the Canadian Football League will tell you that's one of the priorities of a bye week, and kind of nice that it was able to happen that way for Coach Dice.
As we get a look at the throw here, while Claire was talking about head coach Bob Dice and his ability to enjoy a little bit of downtime. This is one of the things that he did not enjoy. And in the last home game against Edmonton, Daniel Opoku was down for a while. And of course, the coach had to go and visit, check in on him. And it looks like this is Robert Priester on the bottom after trying to get skyward and knock that one away from Justin McInnes. And again, great to see, just like Javon Catoy, Robert Priester up onto his feet. Gets a round of applause here from the Red Blacks faithful as Aiden Eberhardt comes over to check in and make sure he's feeling okay. And Catoy is in the huddle. You see him right there, 86, right next to Nathan Rourke, as they lead 3-0 here over Ottawa.
That was Aiden Eberhardt checking in on his fellow former Wyoming Cowboy,
yes,
by the way.
Well said, Dwayne. Connections never go away once you've played with a guy at any level, especially in college ball, is along the sideline. Keon Hatcher Sr. adding to his impressive tally on the season, even with the bye week last week for the Lions, still leading the CFL in receiving yardage.
And Nathan Rourke gets out on the move on this one, looking deep. Nothing there. The check down or safety valve is to Hatcher right along the sidelines. Short gain, second and manageable.
One of the best parts of watching Nathan Rourke, the processing speed in real times as it's starting to spit some rain here in Ottawa. And you can see him get from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 as quick as anybody in the CFL. Handoff inside. James Butler fighting for it. Has to get to the 35-yard line. Might be just shy as short yardage package at the ready for the BC Lions, but they won't need it this time. First down, BC.
Yeah, and that play, just a great example of how James Butler and Nathan Rourke complement each other with their styles. Butler running that ball to the right, but watch as Rourke follows through with that boot action, kind of holding the defense out to the other side, keeping them honest.
They play off each other so well.
Yeah.
They also complement each other in terms of roster building, right? Sometimes it's kind of have those Frankenstein backfields of, yeah, this guy's good at that and that guy's good at that, but I don't know if we work well off each other. I think this is a great example of who does.
Yes, ideal complements for one another. Buck Pierce bringing some of his offensive concepts from Winnipeg, where, you know, it all began with that downhill running game.
The crowd fired up because it's raining sideways all of a sudden here at TD Place. Stanley Berryhill makes the grab, and Davian Taylor flying out from his middle linebacker spot here. They'll spot it 3rd and 1.
Yeah, just a quick hitter here to Stanley Berryhill, former Arizona Wildcat.
Rourke stays in the ball game. Off to the right-hand side. Free man just took the wrong angle, and Darius Pickett almost got the party started all the way in the backfield.
Yeah, quick reaction there by Nathan Rourke to kind of duck inside as he saw Pickett off that edge.
A little change of pace here as well from the Lions. And not sure if it is because of the weather, but they've all of a sudden ratcheted up the tempo. Rourke rolls to his right, lots of room, and Keon Hatcher Sr. That one slides off the mitts. Another drop for the Lions as McInnes had one earlier on.
Yeah, but the line of scrimmage, things work out perfectly here for the Lions as they get that defensive front flowing to the offensive left. Rourke pivots out, breaking contained to the right. As you saw Keon Hatcher trying to run before he had secured that catch.
Back to work they go, and Berryhill. No snap came up, no one reacts. Very nearly had the flag as now McInnes turns to the outside, and he's got the sideline. Down he goes and trying to get in the way on what could have been a disastrous play for the Lions. Instead, it's a big gainer from Justin McInnes, and yards after the catch, not always the way he gets it done, usually down the field. But this time, a quick hitter, and they want to go fast back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, McInnes, the number 2 receiver, second from the top of your screen. Quick hit, spins out, gets to the sideline.
Handoff inside for the Lions, quickly getting after, as you see, 3 big plays per game so far this season. The problem has not been the explosives for the BC Lions offense. It's the other 2 phases and giving up too many big plays and not having much of a return game.
One of the statistics that jumped out for me this week in looking at these teams is just seeing the BC Lions first in the league in offensive points per game, but down to about 4th in total points, where other teams are getting defensive scores, special team scores. The Lions haven't had that.
Absolutely. As Rourke off balance finds Aiden Everhart, and he goes inside the 15-yard line. First down, BC Lions. They convert on 2nd and 6, and just an awkward spot for Rourke to throw, but gets enough heat on it.
Yeah, you know, as terrific a year statistically as Keon Hatcher has had.
Rourke throws this one down and away. They'll call it complete, and there is Keon Hatcher Sr. on cue.
You know, there's actually been terrific balance in the passing game for the BC Lions. Javon Katoy, 5th leading receiver on the team. He's over 450 yards coming into this one.
Yeah, Hatcher did keep it off the turf here at TD Place as the wind kicking up enough to actually make the uprights start to shake and rattle around a little bit. They've knocked down some of the advertisements in the end zone for fear that they might actually fly out onto the playing field, it looks like. So gives you a sense that game day ops here inside TD Place taking every precaution, as they know the weather, as usual this time of year, can be a little sporadic.
Yes.
Add that to the long list of things that don't seem to faze that guy.
Nathan Rourke, second highest drafted quarterback in CFL history.
Just wondering, with the flag ripping that hard, if we got on a boat right around Brockville, how fast could we get to the other end of Lake Ontario with the wind at our back blowing that hard? Dwayne, what do you think?
I don't do boats, Marshall.
Well, let's see if the Lions can get into the end zone here. 2nd and 2. Ottawa sends pressure. James Butler right down the pipe, dives into the end zone. Touchdown BC, and it's the 9th major of the season for JB.
Got the big fellas in on the celebration with him. James Butler pounds it in. Let's watch the offensive line go to work in close here. Javon Santos Knox, middle linebacker, steps up, sort of mugged up in the line of scrimmage. Offensive line able to secure that. Leaves a little bit of a void at the second level.
Best running back in the league. Hey, let me know when I'm live. I'm live.
There was a dozen plays for 100 yards, a quality long drive for the BC Lions. Over 5 minutes, 21 seconds.
Hey, I love you, Auntie Brenda. RP. Shout out my mama. Shout out my O-line. Let's keep it going.
There you see that Lions offensive line moving bodies. Butler getting north-south in a hurry. They get him wrapped up, and Butler has the forward momentum that carries him into the end zone for the game's first major.
Yeah, it's not quite October, but Nathan Rourke loving getting a little bit of run support. One of the moments that actually kind of caught me off guard in warm-up here tonight in Ottawa, Dwayne, was James Butler at the end of warm-up, before they put the pads on, kind of the early outs where people are out and getting loose and stretching and all the rest. Full sprints, like 40-yard dash, like he's at a combine. Did 3 or 4 of them up and down the field. And off and running was the BC offense on that drive. Again, 100 yards on a dozen plays. And nearing double-digit touchdowns on the season now is James Butler. We'll see whether or not he can reach that mark here tonight, as a sidewinder drops down to Khalil Pimpleton. Fields it cleanly despite the wind and the rain. Pimpleton trying to get to the outside. Wrapped up and tackled at the 47-yard line.
Well, pretty good starting point here for the Ottawa offense. Let's see what kind of response we get here from Dustin Crum and company.
And this is the question for Ottawa, right? They haven't led at any point in the last 2 games. They've been down by at least 15 points at some point in a ball game, 8 of their 11 so far this year. Even with a backup quarterback in, can they dig their heels in and refuse to let this night just drift past? They'll begin with a swing out to William Stanback. This is a great start. And Micah Awe, never in doubt, chases it down on his former BC teammate.
Yeah, you'll see Stanback right at the bottom of your screen. It's just going to swing out. The receivers do a pretty good job getting their blocks, creating a lane for the running back.
Awe continues to hunt, leading the Canadian Football League in tackles on the season. Dustin Crum's got 3 minutes to get on the board here in Ottawa.
Finally got a touchdown in this defensive battle. Not really the game we were expecting. How happy are we to be here? No wind, no rain.
Great conditions out there.
Nice. You got us coming up at the half as well. We'll hear from the crew in Edmonton looking ahead to Super Saturday.
There's one guy that's maybe wishing he was back in studio alongside Laura and the gang. Inside run, pounding it forward for a first down here. They convert inside the 3-minute warning we go. And the Red Blacks trying to find some offense. Gino Lewis back out onto the field here and wonder if they can go to their big play receiver down the field. It's been mostly Addison and Hardy underneath so far in this one.
Yeah, still looking for Gino to have that big game of a string of big catches. You know, a couple touchdowns against Toronto a few weeks ago.
This one goes backwards to Hardy. A double pass on a crossing route. They try to dial it up for Gino, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Trying to find any way they could, and maybe trying to dial it up against the newcomer in that secondary as well, as Hardy lets it rip.
Yeah, Crum gets it out. Hardy on the perimeter. Receiver stepping back. Gino trying to stay with it off the deflection, but just couldn't get there.
And one of those that, you know, it's easy to be critical about ball placement when you got a receiver playing quarterback, but with the wind the way that it is, great throw by Crum to get it to Hardy. Maybe you just want to lay that one up for Gino to go and get it, right?
Yeah.
Big body guy, one-on-one. Hardy tried to rip it on him, falls incomplete. Wind howling now with the rain at the back of Dustin Crum. He gets it into the flats. William Stanback. Oh, he might have stayed in bounds there for a little bit of extra yards after the catch, but it is a first down for Ottawa as the conditions, I know it's hard to tell at home, but rapidly changing from terrible to great to terrible.
Oh, William Stanback not bothered by the conditions as he's contributed back-to-back first downs here for the Red Blacks.
Empty it out. Crum stands in the pocket, now thinks about taking off, and time runs out, and he's thrown down.
Looked like Crum felt like his face mask got grabbed. We'll try to take a closer look here. Takedown watch Toure coming from the top of the line.
Oof.
And he
yeah,
definitely got a hold of the mask there.
So for now, Toure is third sack of the season. But did he just get his hands in the wrong place? He would have had the sack regardless.
Yeah, you'll see he's coming from behind. He's just trying to grab it. It's one of those inadvertent ones, but definitely got the hand in the mask.
Yeah, no question as the replay center takes a look at things.
After automatic review by the replay center, we have face mask BC, number 58. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for Ottawa.
Nice chunk of extra field position here as Bob Dice watches on, and maybe a little upset that one wasn't caught in real time as they had a little bit of mojo going with the Ottawa offense for the first time.
And I think from an Ottawa point of view as well, you get it works out okay, but you worry about your quarterback being taken down hard on what was an illegal hit.
Absolutely. So Toure digs back in. Full house backfield for now. They'll empty out Justin Hardy. Take the run inside and now flipped into the feet of William Stanback, incomplete. And again, tough conditions as it rains sideways in front of us here in the broadcast booth at TD Place.
And you can see the Red Blacks as it's been a struggle trying to get the run game going against this BC Lions defense, but we've seen them find other ways, high percentage ways to put the ball in the hands of William Stanback. It's been the foundation of their success on this drive. That's what they're trying to do. Unfortunately, that one came off the hands a little awkwardly for Dustin Crum. Falls short.
After missing the throw, Crum also took a look at what looked like his left hand or wrist. Wonder if he got thrown down onto it on the Toure face mask. And a second and long, and another great throw this time by Crum, but off the hands of Justin Hardy, always reliable, but we've seen it from Keon Hatcher, Justin McInnes, and now it is Hardy taking his turn in the sin bin.
It can often be a subtle thing when you deal with a wind game, that we may not notice it necessarily from the booth or on TV, but sometimes just the flight of the football could be, and as a receiver kind of judging it coming in at a high speed, sometimes that can play some tricks, and wondering if that's what some of the top receivers in the league are battling out there right now.
As Lewis Ward gets to take his turn to deal with the conditions here. 2:13 remaining. The kick will come from 32 yards away. You can even see from our camera there the end zone shot hanging up high in the wind, the uprights swinging. Always worried about even the short snap in this one, but perfect snap hold, and the kick goes through as the BC Lions and Buck Pierce looking for a little bit more and trying to find some solutions here in the tough conditions. Luke?
Yeah, definitely. I think right now the message has got to be, and going into this last 2-minute drive in the halftime, get out of your own way. If you're the BC Lions, you really have stopped yourselves at points. And you look at some of these here, you run a corner bite, right corner stop. Ball's a little high, could be the wind, but we got to make that play. We got to score. This again, huge play scene. Rourke, great throw, just a drop. And you watch Barry Hill the third here. This was almost a penalty. Again, staying out of your way. They don't call it. He comes back. Look what happens now when you stay out of your own way. It's a huge play here to McInnes. It sets up the touchdown. Again, Ottawa's playing good defensively, but you got to think right now, if you're BC, you've really inflicted a lot of these issues on yourself.
I'm just wondering, Luke, as you see some of the receivers battling with conditions out there with the wind, is there any sort of adjustment that you make as a receiver in a game like this?
So it's funny, Dwayne, to me, I always have 2 pairs of gloves, and this gets really strange, but it's different types of rain. So sometimes when it's that torrential downpour, which it's not, I would change gloves. But in a game like this where it's a little bit of a miss, I get the little towel on and I'm good to go. I'm not making any switches. But that's a personal thing.
The other thing about this, Luke, too, is the idea of you try to simulate as much as you can about games when you're in practice. How do you simulate this? You can't unless you get a major storm during practice.
Big time. And what's been tough, too, being down here is the wind has picked up and then died. So it's been no wind and then crazy gusts. So throwing the football, you just got to go every snap and see what's going on.
Just one of those nights. They're going to have to battle through it. Good stuff. Luke Wilson down at field level as Jeremiah Masoli needed to get to the 50-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Looks good from here for now. And it is a first down for the Lions, so they get an opportunity to extend their lead with 1:51 remaining.
The Lions currently working into that wind. This is the direction in which they scored the game's only touchdown.
Again, I want to say that it's into the wind, but as Luke just said, it's gusty and then it's nothing, and then it's gusty going sideways to the, from on your screen from left to right, and then it turns and heads towards the south end and then the north end, all over the place. And now a fumble in the backfield and trying to get out of their own way. BC fails that time as the exchange sloppy between Rourke and Butler, and Lorenzo Molden steps in to finish it off.
And we'll take a look at this one. Looked like, you want to ride that fake for a while, hold the defense. But Butler maybe not sure if Rourke was going to give him that one. Ball ends up on the ground. The Lions did well to actually gain a yard on the play.
So Rourke with 2nd and 9. 4-man rush, goes to his left. Berryhill makes the grab, has to fight around the edge. That one punched out as Milton came in with the massive chop right at the football.
Yeah, Berryhill trying to turn the corner here. Watch Milton. You see him winding up with that right arm over the top, jarring it loose. Milton previously had stints with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Moved from Hamilton to Toronto, where he had been starting at halfback for the Double Blue, but Ottawa looking for a little more depth in their secondary. Their coordinator, Will Fields, having come over from Toronto, having some familiarity. Got one of his former charges in the lineup.
You heard some yelling between the benches as the wind gusts up and the rain comes down again, saying that's a long 2. They'll officially call it 3rd and 3. Rourke stays in the game, hands it off. James Butler got it, no question. All the way down to the 41-yard line.
And with 3 yards to go, I mean, a lot of this, the success of this play to me has to do with the uncertainty of, you know, is the ball going to Butler up the middle? Is the ball staying with Rourke on the perimeter? Defense can't really collapse to the inside to shut things down on Butler as they're trying to defend the many BC Lions backfield options.
4 receivers to the right for Rourke. He looks that way, drifts, thought about throwing it, decides to use his legs. And Rourke cuts back, gets the first down as he picks up a gain of 12 on the play. Inside the 30-yard line they go with 33 seconds remaining in a 7-point lead.
And to my point, this is what happens when you collapse on James Butler on the inside.
Yep.
Nathan Rourke on the perimeter hurts you.
Rourke dancing out there in the open field as he fakes to Butler, bootlegs, and Eberhardt gets run through, as was that Lucas Cormier flying around out of Mount Allison in his 2nd year in the CFL. He missed 3 games with a quad injury, but looks full speed right here.
Yeah, just passing the goalpost. Big collision there.
Berryhill loops around in the backfield. Rourke looks his way along the sideline, steps out of bounds. Spotted at the 15-yard line, and another first down. 3 seconds remaining, and Buck Pierce sends out the field goal unit with Sean White.
Yeah, they don't want to, as much as they'd love to take a shot at the end zone, I'm sure don't want to risk leaving this drive empty-handed.
You could see Buck Pierce, as soon as Nathan Rourke looked to him on the sideline, kind of wished, give me one more, and Buck went, no, come here, good job.
Yeah.
Good, that was a great drive into drifting wind and rain. He sets up Sean White from 23 yards away. This one not easy, regardless of the short distance, but the veteran makes good, as he's done so many times over in his CFL career. And so the BC Lions will get a choice of the ball or which way they want to go, which could be very key considering the conditions as it stands right now. What's your preference and where do you want to go? But no doubt the running game has been important here early on for the BC Lions.
Yeah, James Butler and that offensive line setting the tone, creating opportunities in the passing game. James Butler finding some big gains up the middle, including the first touchdown of this ball game.
And you wonder who got into the end zone the only time in this ball game. The Butler did it. James is with Claire Hanna.
James, I saw one of the tables on your sideline flip over. It's rainy, it's windy. What kind of adjustments are you making with this weather?
Well, I mean, whatever Buck wants to call, man, we just gonna have to run it. But we know this is Ottawa. I say every time I come to Ottawa, if it's not raining, it's about to rain.
You got your 9th touchdown of the season in that first half. How is that going to give you guys some confidence?
And both won coming off a bye earlier this season. If the Red Blacks want to continue that trend, they've got some work to do. We'll see if Bryce Carter can get into the backfield. He's with Claire Hanna.
Bryce, we see Nathan Rourke moving around a lot back there. How do you guys get more pressure on him?
I feel like it starts with us being more disciplined. He's a guy who he trusts his leg. He's a good player. We just got to do a better job of just being more disciplined and trusting ourselves.
When we spoke earlier in the week, you talked about your team's slow starts. Yet again, 3 points on the board. How do you get some more fast going here in the second half?
I feel it's all about execution. That's the memo in the locker room. Execute. It's about pride. We want to win. We have to win. The win is the goal. That's what we are here for. So we got to win.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, they certainly do need to get a win here to keep pace in the Wild East Division after it tightened down on Labor Day with the last-second theatrics of Dejan Brissett and the Toronto Argonauts against Hamilton, who are back in action tomorrow against Montreal. What feels like a must-win for both of those teams. And Ottawa trying to keep chase 3-8 on the season, as this one chopped high in the air, and Adarius Pickett gets his hands on the football, returns it out to the 37-yard line, and Dustin Crum comes out as we get a look at his first half of action here in the nation's capital.
Yeah, a little bit of tough sledding for the Ottawa REDBLACKS offensively in that first half. Crum managing to break contain once or twice, use his legs for a couple big gains, and finding some different ways to get the ball in the hands of Williams to stand back as the second quarter went on. We'll see if they can continue with that aspect of their offense here to start the second half.
And waiting to see a little bit of that Tommy Condell creativity as well. Wonder if the conditions might have limited that a little bit as he tries to expand the Crum package, waiting for Drew Brown to return from the knee injury that he suffered back in Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago. Inside run that time, brought down by Toure.
Yeah, and Braylon Addison in the backfield that time with William Stanback out wide. Josh Woods, the linebacker, went with him. An indication of man coverage if they're going to go past, but I think part of the mission there is pulling a true linebacker out of the box as they go to the run with Addison instead.
290 yards rushing on the season for Dustin Crum. We'll see if he uses the legs here on 2nd and 7. Lots of time in the pocket, nobody open, and now he's forced to use those legs as he tries to run away from Woods and slides down on his knees, as it'll be a first down for Ottawa, and Crum does find a way to convert. It might not be pretty all the time with Crum, but he tries to find a way any chance he has.
And you think about when Dustin Crum got his first opportunity to play for an extended period a couple of years ago, and he was really thrown into the fire, having just had a glimpse of the CFL at the end of the previous season.
Saw the sticks and went at it there. This time he was late coming inside, and it's caught. Eugene Lewis makes the grab, bounces off of Micah Awe as Lewis and Awe say hello to each other, and another Ottawa first down.
And Gino working across the middle here. Does a pretty good job staying on his feet off that big collision. Spinning to get back upfield and pick up a few yards.
Crum pops this one underneath, trying to get Khalil Pimpleton going here offensively on first down. That's going nowhere. That's the first catch, by the way, for Eugene Lewis in this ball game, for a guy who has gone over 100 receptions in 4 of the last 5 years, whether it's Montreal or Edmonton, as he tries to get Justin Hardy set up and ready at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there's some of that creativity you talked about from Tommy Condell. Another extension of the run game, trying to spread out that BC Lions defense a little bit, create some gaps.
Crum, quick drop, looks right, looks left, and then is thrown down onto the turf. And the inside of that Ottawa offensive line gets pushed right into the face of Dustin Crum.
And here you see Jonah Tavai. Just a bull rush, gets that inside edge as you saw him use his power to get separation from the guard Jacob Ruby. He's then able to beat him to the inside.
Decent amount of penetration for the BC Lions in the punt game here as well, but this time wobbling spiral will drop out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Nice boot by Richie Leone out of bounds, but it's Jacob Ruby in at right guard for the injured Darius Bladdock, getting beat by Jonah Tavai, who brings down Dustin Crum to get things going. (13-3) the BC Lions up over the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Nathan Rourke in this first half of action. Pretty amazing to think 14 of 18, 150 yards. He's on pace for a 300-yard game. And also, he had 2 or 3 drops. Nathan didn't really put the ball in a bad spot once.
And that's been the story of recent weeks for Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions passing game, really rounding into form. under the tutelage of Buck Pierce.
In this drive with an inside handoff. Last time they were inside their own 10, a 12-play, 100-yard drive for a touchdown, but first down gets off to a slow start as he hands it off, but his place in history unquestioned at this point. Russ Jackson way up there, but making the move past Don Getty as well here for third in CFL history for Canadian quarterbacks.
Yeah, pretty impressive for Nathan Rourke in a limited window. Drafted in 2020. As I said earlier, Rourke the 15th overall pick in that draft.
There he is, the icon. Russ Jackson all over this stadium, the celebration of the multiple iterations of Ottawa CFL football. As Rourke looks to the air, into the wind, and this one double caught and then dropped. It wasn't intercepted. Keon Hatcher tried to hang on to it. Lucas Cormier flew out. And a flag comes down as well. And Bob Dice already hands on the challenge flag there. Justin McInnes is the referee.
Lucas Cormier having himself a game. Big hit a little earlier on Aiden Eberhardt.
And the Ottawa offense coming out onto the field here, so this must be going against the Lions. You can hear the appreciation from the TD Place crowd, and Cormier celebrated by his teammates.
Yeah, just a good job rallying to the football. As you can see, he's covering it, another receiver. But just anticipating.
Illegal interference, blocking downfield, BC, number 18. Penalty is declined, first down Ottawa.
So Cormier is the one who gets blocked illegally down the field, fights off that from Justin McInnes, and gets the interception.
Yeah, good things happen when you're under the football. Lucas Cormier, the number 10 overall pick in 2023, one of the big risers at the Combine that year. I think a lot of people knew he was a solid prospect. Playing at Mount Allison, small school, smaller conference. Wanted to see him against some of the other top prospects, and Cormier certainly shone. And now finding his way in the Canadian Football League.
As Buck Pierce, or now, is throwing a challenge flag, and is he attempting to challenge illegally blocking downfield, and is he able to? Would he have to challenge for something pass interference related while the ball was in the air? Mike Benavides watches on, defensive coordinator.
We'll take another look. And there's Cormier, the defender. So originally the early block was called on him. BC trying to make the argument that that's illegal contact by the defender.
And Justin McInnes working through it with the CFL Replay Center. And I guess handing the assignment desk what they need to look at based on what Buck Pierce is interested in here.
And we'll wait for the explanation here. Is it maybe that they're looking for defensive pass interference where the ball was actually thrown, as opposed to illegal contact further up.
So McInnes is there, 18. See the battle running through Cormier. And ball up for grabs. And the CFL Replay Center is taking a quick look at it.
BC challenged the previous play for defensive pass interference. After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be first down, Ottawa.
And so Lucas Cormier has the interception. side note, Jeff Cummins, former CFL defensive lineman, Acadia Axeman head coach, 20 years now. Congratulations to Coach Cummins out there in Wolffoot. But I remember him saying to me, yeah, Mount A's got a freak. Like, I talked to him one day, just said, you're not going to believe this kid at Mount A. We got to put up with him for another year or two. It was that kid, Lucas Cormier. And now can the Ottawa offense cash in and make this a single-score game? Dustin Crum hands it off. William Stanback smells the end zone, lunges forward. Touchdown, Red Blacks.
Well, one of the few times that they've been able to gain some positive yards on the ground comes at one of the most critical times. William Stanback punching it in for the touchdown.
The fireworks went off on the touchdown, and Stanback gets the hammer there. The smoke from the fireworks disappeared in record time thanks to the wind. That's totally cleared out. No rain right now. Lewis Ward trying to hammer this one through. He does. Plays the bank off the wind here on Bank Street. And the Red Blacks, they're all in this together. Every unit trying to play some complimentary football. It's Lucas Cormier with the pick, and it's Stanback for 6. The U.S. Open continues tomorrow with the women's final at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Catch all the action on TSN. Arena Sabalenka against Amanda Anisimova as they will battle for the U.S. Open crown. As here at TD Place, William Stanback, you would think maybe that, you know, a little excitement, little former team touchdown. Maybe he went through the revenge game with the Lions when he went and played against Montreal, and now he's like, I've already done that.
Yeah, been there, done that.
That was last season, and this is now. As McGee returns this across the 40, tackled from behind, and the wind switching directions again a little bit towards the bottom of your screen once we get to game action as it swirls around here at TD Place, and Nathan Rourke trying to adjust to it. Well, that's as good an indicator as you can give for swirling wind, wrapping the flag around the pole.
Yeah, it's been that kind of night here in Ottawa, but the rain seems to have subsided.
Be careful.
For the time being, for the moment.
Rourke, as the snap comes up from his center, Michael Couture back from a hand injury. Gets that one out on the money. James Butler makes the grab and tackled just across the 55-yard line.
And you're seeing Lucas Cormier getting lots of action at the will linebacker spot. Ottawa dealing with managing the ratio a little bit with Cleon Lang out of the lineup, Daniel Opoko as well, where that defensive tackle spot they usually play Canadians. So fortunate to get Cormier back off the injured list in time for this game. He's making a huge contribution.
Rourke hands it off inside once again on first down. By the way, 2 weeks ago, Daniel Opoko was down for about 14 minutes on the field and actually had to be taken away in an ambulance. Great to see that he's just been listed with a short-term injury shoulder that he's dealing with, as that one was a scary situation for the fans in attendance, and of course the Red Blacks and their team, one of their teammates. But energy high here, hoping to get a stop on 2nd and 8 with Opoko's teammates on defense, including Cormier, staring down fellow Canadian Nathan Rourke. Empty it out 3 by 3. Rourke down the middle. McInnes. He's home free. Walk it in. Canadian to Canadian for 6. 51 yards from Rourke to McInnes.
You know, there's a moment on this play before Nathan Rourke throws the football. Cormier's coming off the edge. He's right on the right edge of your screen. It looked like he may have hesitated for a split second, that maybe he's just on a little bit more of a beeline, forces Nathan Rourke to hurry up a little bit on his release, things maybe go a little differently, but Justin McInnes was so wide open down the middle of the field. I'm not sure anything would have kept that one from being a score.
How about the maturation of Nathan Rourke? We know he had the sensational statistical season back in 22, but for him to be able to stand in for that long, hold his eyes to the left, pump, flip his hips back the other direction, and drop a dime. McInnes into the end zone. Justin McInnes into the end zone, wide open, running down the seam for the major here.
Yeah. Bottom receiver, running right down the hash. I mean, a miscommunication, just a bust in terms of coverage on the back end there for Ottawa.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it to try and understand where the Red Blacks might have gone wrong, but this kickoff in, the wind drops down all the way at the 29-yard line, and the coverage unit all over it. There's Patrice Rene right down there alongside Josh Haggerty, and we get another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, and you take a look. Ottawa's not outnumbered over on that side of the field, but just a miscommunication. Now you see the safety down here. Nathan Rourke looks that way and kind of holds the safety Lamont on that side, so he can't get back to help out. Again, as I said, looks like just some miscommunication there with McInnes running unobstructed down the hash mark. Easy find for Nathan Rourke.
Dustin Crum now tries to answer the bell. This one high and away. And Khalil Pimpleton hauls it in. Small frame receiver, still got great ability to get up and out. But yeah, Patrice Rene and Josh Haggerty, just a wall of gray and orange. And McInnes love watching the special teams coverage right in front of his bench. As the short yardage team on 2nd and 1 plunges their way forward. On that touchdown to McInnes as well, there's got to be a moment for DeAndre Lamont on the backside where the snap comes up and Rourke's staring right at him, and inside his head he's going, well, why is he looking right at me?
Yeah.
Right? Something's gone terribly wrong if the quarterback's staring directly at you. Might be trying to hold you.
And that he did.
Flag comes up here on the short yardage play. 10-point Lions advantage as they bounce back from the Cormier interception and the stand-back rushing touchdown. There was just 3 plays, but 66 yards in 1:23. Of course, with the 51-yarder to Justin McInnes finishing it off.
Oh, Bob Dice, his Ottawa
After the
Redblacks.
play, we have a misconduct penalty, 15 yards against Ottawa, number 64. 15-yard penalty, but it'll be first down Ottawa.
Dino Boyd on the call. See if we can find out what set the Red Blacks offense back. There's a big pile up on short yardage.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find number 64, Dino Boyd. Bottom of the pile. Got into it with Matthew Betts.
And
the official standing over watching him.
It looked like Betts got into it with Godbear, and then Boyd trying to send a message the other way. The official gave him time to get off, but he didn't. And now stand back with the undesirable role of getting chased down from behind on 1st and 10. As Betts and Boyd continue the conversation. Don't expect Christmas cards to be shared in a couple of months between those two.
Go against each other for enough snaps over the course of the game as a defensive end and an offensive tackle. Bound to be a little bit of bad blood.
Back up, Rob. Just back up. It's okay.
BC winning 9 of their last 10 against Ottawa last season. The two teams split the season series. Crum, Eugene Lewis makes the grab on 2nd and long, and the rallying Lions defense of Mike Benavides right there all over it once again.
Yeah, Lions defense playing with a different level of energy here tonight than what they had a couple of weeks ago in Toronto.
Isn't it amazing you get a big play like Rourke to McInnes and all of a sudden the entire sideline?
Yeah.
Totally energized.
Impacting the entire team. As you saw, it was followed up with the big special teams hit and a great defensive series.
So Richard Leone knocks this one down to McGee inside the 20. Nice kick that time from Leone. Conditions and all things considered, but now he can't make the tackle, and it's a race. The Lions are on fire here in the third quarter. Rourke to McInnes, followed by special team support, and BC extends the lead.
And here's one of the storylines we had talked about earlier. BC not getting points from defense and special teams the way some other CFL squads have this season. But if I may borrow from our colleague Dustin Nielsen, here we have 7 for 7.
Jump cut right in the middle of the return. Changed the whole thing, and Leone never had a chance. Darius Pickett doesn't have the top end speed. We've seen the big moose. Marco Dubois chased down returners in the past at the very end, but not that time. McGee, unstoppable on his way to the end zone. As Sean White lifts that Wilson up through the uprights.
And I guess now it's 7 for 7.
There you
right?
go. Yeah.
Before it was only 7.
It's up for 6.
It's not as catchy.
But so shifty in the middle of the field. It reminds me of Khalil Pimpleton we spoke to this week, saying that the big missed field goal return that he had a couple of weeks ago against Winnipeg, they challenged him, the special teams unit of the REDBLACKS, to make a play, an impact play. Well, certainly the BC Lions have been challenging their return game to do something, anything. In a year in which there's been a wild amount of returns, defense and special teams for touchdowns, BC's kind of been on the outside looking in. And Corey McDermott gets a little hug on the sideline.
Come on, man. You already know, boogie down.
Yeah, McDermott, the man drawing it up. And McGee and the return unit execute to perfection. A couple of magnificent cuts there from the first-year BC Lion.
Scoring up in the CFL so far this year, coming into tonight, 53.8 points per game. One of the main reasons, there's 34, now 35 total return touchdowns, already more than all of last season because of returners like that. And the REDBLACKS find themselves down 27-10 as rookie Keelan White gets his opportunity, and a solid return out near the 45-yard line. But a big drive for the REDBLACKS to try and find their way back into this one. 4:43 remaining in the third. And for the 9th game this season, Ottawa finds themselves down by at least 15 points somewhere in the ballgame.
And Ottawa certainly feeling the pressure to get some points on the board. Here trailing by 3 scores, and an Ottawa team that is winless 0-7 this season when trailing after 3 quarters.
Daniel Adeboboye enters the backfield, and Crom play action to him, then we'll try to get it out. Adeboboye, who does a good job as always falling forward. What looked like should be a gain of 4 will be a first down for the REDBLACKS.
Yeah, nice effort there by Daniel Adeboboye once he got that ball in his hands, fighting to get to that first down marker.
Play in space, and it seems like an inevitability at this point as Michael Awe being on the back end of the play to finish it off, as they'll fake the handoff on the end around to Braylon Addison, come back the other direction. The fullback, Anthony Gosselin, gets the touch, and Alway once again there to make the tackle, but a gain of 14 and another Ottawa first down.
Yeah, nice plays back-to-back to the Ottawa running backs. Adeboboye and the fullback Gosselin. Keep those sticks moving. Getting into BC territory.
8th year out of Sherbrooke. Anthony Gosselin, rarely targeted, gets an opportunity there. Ottawa trying to spread the football around here to create a little bit of offensive momentum. After seeing 2 touchdowns go against them in the 3rd quarter. Crum breaks contain, flips it out. Adeboboye gets pushed out of bounds, and Micah Alway is everywhere all the time.
Yeah, you gotta love the energy that Micah Alway has brought to this BC Lions defense. Dustin Crum, nice escape here. As he feels that pocket collapsing, knows he's got the defensive end, Matthew Betts, locked up with his tackle, escaping to the outside to make a play.
Crum looks right, rifles this way into Khalil Pimpleton, who makes Alway miss. Bouncing off a couple of tacklers, but converting on 2nd down. That might be the most confident throw we've seen so far tonight from Dustin Crum. It helps when Pimpleton's that open, but he stepped into that one.
Yeah, great response here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Dustin Crum leading the way, a series of just high percentage plays.
Lone receiver to the top of your screen is Gino Lewis. They'll try to run block here for Adeboboye as Alway makes the tackle once again, but downhill. Nice push that time from the left side of the offensive line. Dino Boyd, Drew Desjardins, Peter Godber as well.
When you get that BC Lions defense off balance a little bit with the completion of a couple of passes. Dustin Crum on the move, and Daniel Adeboboye, such a powerful runner.
Low to the ground when he gets rolling. Hard to bring down. They'll empty it out 3 by 3. Crum steps up in the pocket, looks to run, and bounces away from 2 tacklers, dives to the end zone. Never say never with Dustin Crum. What a response by the REDBLACKS.
Yeah, great execution, and then a whole lot of want to when you look at the first play, the catch in the flat by Adeboboye, where he fights through a couple of BC tacklers to pick up a first down. And Dustin Crum sliding, ducking, getting down was never really a thought for him on this one. It was end zone or bust for the REDBLACKS QB.
Smiling and nodding almost before he got to the end zone, as in between Matthew Betts, Deontay Williams, Micah Alway somehow sliding away from it all. Is that man Dustin Crum into the end zone, and also continues his touchdown streak. Came in with a 4-game touchdown streak, longest active in the CFL. Of course, handling some short yards responsibility helps that, aside from him getting starts, but just has a knack when he gets close anywhere inside the 10 for finding the end zone, as it looks like Matthew Betts is slow up onto his feet, and the standout pass rusher will make his way onto his feet and off the turf.
Yeah, Betts may have been the victim of a little bit of friendly fire there, as a couple of teammates were converging on the Ottawa quarterback.
Outside leverage on the gym pump, dude.
As Matthew Schultz talks it over on the sideline. Backup quarterback here with Drew Brown out tonight. Watching earlier on from the booth with Tommy Condell. And the 8-year vet out of Butler trying to help the 2nd-year man from Kent State. Kicking game, oh so important, as this one drifts on Lewis Ward, misses the extra point, and it remains a 27-16 game. How will that play in to the finish of this one. The third quarter, electric, untouchable. 7 for 7, and then Crum can't be stopped. Bob Dice and the Ottawa REDBLACKS sitting at 3-8 on the season and trying to find ways to win, but our sideline observer always piecing together the puzzle.
You know, Marshall, you look at Ottawa right here, they come out and they make a good play. Good teams come out and they take advantage of that. Bad teams that are 3-8 give it right back. And what happens? You come out here, and this just can't happen. This is an awful busted coverage. And it's a great throw and catch, I get it, but someone is wrong here in the back end. Then on the ensuing drive, you come in and get a brutal drive stopping penalty, 15-yard penalty off for the whistle. Don't need it. And I understand the punt return here. He's not even touched. At least if you're going to punt return, make him break a great tackle. Do something. And then what happens? You miss the kick. Crum makes a great play. You come down here and you miss the kick to stay down 11. Again, good teams take advantage of other teams' mistakes. Bad teams give them right back, and Ottawa has given everything back and some after that interception early in this quarter.
Trying to find ways to avoid the big errors. Those are the things that have gotten in the way this season, certainly time after time for the Ottawa. The crazy thing about the CFL is you can make all of those mistakes, you can give all of those plays away, and there's still the door is open.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've seen how many times this year where it comes down to the final 3 minutes, you go, how did Ottawa get back into this?
Yeah, it's not the way you want to draw it up, but big plays can cover up some mistakes, but yeah, 100% to your point, Luke. Sometimes this is why you find yourself at 3-8.
Right.
Is an inability to hold on to that momentum.
Rarely over the course of a season does a losing record not boil down to missed opportunities and errors. And certainly Ottawa's had their fair share here tonight, as Luke outlines, and James Butler continues to ply his trade in Ottawa for another first down.
We talked about the BC Lions receivers. Versatility. Watch Berryhill come across the formation here, cuts down the defender on the backside, doing his part to contribute in the run game. And I know he was fired up, kind of looking over to the Lions bench after that one with a little flex.
I think you just like Berryhill for those 90s receiver sleeves. Doing a little nostalgia.
I mentioned earlier Stanley Berryhill, a former Arizona Wildcat, grew up in Arizona, so he was a Wildcats fan. I asked him a few weeks ago, who were some of your favorite players? First name out of his mouth, Kadeem Carey. Shout out to Kadeem as he's recovering from knee injury with the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Tremendous season last year with the Toronto Argonauts, caught up in the wash, but then looking a different direction. Went to Saskatchewan and looking forward hopefully to seeing him back on the field and productive once again very soon as Justin McInnes makes the grab. And it is a first down for the BC Lions. And they were electric in the third quarter. Nathan Rourke and company trying to get back into the win column.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Don't play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Gonna show up. Get only shooting stars.
Your numbers after 3 quarters of play, 27-16, still very much in the balance, this East-West interdivisional matchup, but the big punt return by Seven McGee, 93 yards, in the first for the BC Lions since November 19th of 2021. It has been a minute since the Lions have been in the end zone in the return game. It was Lucky Whitehead that did it last, but right now for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, this is classic Dustin Crum, right? You're up against it. It feels like at times it's been a little bit off kilter and sloppy, but here you are. What do you got to do to close out the deal? Yeah, well, he's the author of the Crumback, right? The original Crumback. And they need a little bit of that. Big plays, however they can get them, whatever it takes. And you think about what Dustin Crum did on the last Ottawa touchdown where, as I said, no thought of sliding. He's fighting through tackles, bouncing off people, spinning, fighting his way to the end zone. You know, it may take a little bit of 2023 Dustin Crum
to get the job done here.
Well, he's got that warrior spirit. The problem is the quarterback on the other side, and Nathan Rourke. He's got a little bit of that cold-blooded assassin in him, too, and his connection with Justin McInnes and Keon Hatcher Sr. undeniable in this one. Is also great to see Robert Priester back on the field for the Ottawa REDBLACKS after leaving the field earlier.
Yeah, but Justin McInnes, the big touchdown catch already here in the second half. Again, such a balanced offense in terms of the ball distribution to those receivers. You can't overplay one guy because the others are all capable of killing you.
Inside run here, turn around. James Butler asked Buck Pierce this week, who's the most unique pass catcher you have in this offense? He said they're all focused on being the best version of themselves. They like playing for the guy next to them. They love to get each other open. Love watching somebody else make the play. And then he kind of paused and he went, but Keon Hatcher's size, skill, speed, explosiveness, toughness, people have no idea how smart he is. Other people in our offense thrive because of Keon getting other people open.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that stood out to me was we can see the physical skills. You don't necessarily understand what a guy brings to the table in terms of that football IQ.
Buck Pierce says that he certainly has it as Javon Catoy just off his fingertips on 2nd and 10. A little bit of frustration there from Nathan Rourke. Wishing he could have that one back, and Buck Pierce will talk it over on the sideline, determine what they'd like to do. Sitting here with a 11-point advantage.
Sean White in the field goal unit.
White gets loose. 17-year vet. Khalil Pimpleton, dangerous as ever, standing back to see what happens on this 46-yard attempt. And Sean White, the wind calmed significantly since the second quarter, and White making the most of it. Hammers it through the uprights and extends the BC Lions advantage here in the fourth quarter of Friday Night Football. Well, it is Super Saturday. We fire it up in Montreal tomorrow as Bo Levi Mitchell looks to fight his way back after a disappointing loss on Labor Day at home. And then it is, of course, the Banjo Bowl. Great to see that. And it's the Labor Day rematch. See if VA can create a little bit more magic. And the Calgary Stampeders can double down as...
Speaking of magic.
Oh, no. Might need to see the training staff after that one. Empty it out for Dustin Crum. Double screen, and somehow Khalil Pimpleton is able to turn what looked like a disaster into a 7, maybe 8-yard gain. And now a flag comes up at the end of the play.
Yeah, and this is the Lions making a mistake. Giving Ottawa a chunky yardage.
Bob Dice already out on the field, discussing the penalty flag.
Dustin Crum threading the needle here. Fine piece of concentration there from Pimpleton to track that ball through traffic.
And what happened here at the end of the play? They're trying to rip the football out. Desjardins gave a shove, and looks like Edwards Cooper gave it right back.
There are 2 fouls on the previous play. We have a 15-yard misconduct against BC number 8. We have a 10-yard misconduct against Ottawa number 61. 5-yard up, first down.
And the underrated hero perhaps on that play might have been Braylon Addison trying to protect Khalil Pimpleton so we could actually make the catch on the screen, but Desjardins flagged alongside Edwards Cooper. And after they clean up the laundry, 1st and 10 Ottawa. 12.5 remaining here in the fourth. Crum takes the toss, comes back the other way. Addison, tough catch, a little bit of running room, cuts it back and bounces off of a BC defender. As Deontay Williams will get credit for it, but a nice chunk play and a beautiful design. Misdirection here from Tommy Condell.
Yeah, this is it. They get all the flow going to the offensive right side. Fake toss. Slip Braylon Addison across the field going the other way. Good body control there by Addison to twist himself back to pull that one in.
Six-year man out of Oregon. The former Duck makes the grab, and now this one knocked up in the air. And Toure very nearly had a game changer.
Right in the bottom corner of your screen, you'll see Toure coming off the edge. They try to get him cut down to prevent that from happening on the quick pass. But he's able to play off that block, get his hands up in the passing lane.
Down 14, 2nd and 10. Crum steps into the pocket, gets it out. Addison makes the grab, and it will be short of the first down marker. So Addison adds to his tally here on the evening after the nice chunk play on the fake toss, but kicking unit will come off the sideline. Lewis Ward trying to atone for that missed extra point.
And some in the crowd wanting the Ottawa REDBLACKS to go for it here on 3rd down, but 11.5 minutes to go. They can take the 3, make sure they come away with something and chip into this BC lead.
38 yards away, opposite end of where Ward just recently missed that extra point on the Dustin Crum touchdown, and this one never in doubt, hammered it through, didn't let the wind mess around with it, as Aiden Eberhardt has had a sweet season to this point, but up against some different adversity than your average player. Claire Hanna has more.
Well, Sour Patch Kids and a Kit Kat bar, these could be sideline snacks for a sideline reporter, or they could be a lifesaver for BC Lions receiver Aiden Eberhardt. And that's because he has type 1 diabetes. Now, Eberhardt admitted to me that when he was first being recruited by the BC Lions, he kind of lied to them about his condition. He was just been diagnosed with diabetes, but he pretended he had the disease for years and knew how to manage it while playing. But the truth was he was still figuring out how to play with it. Well, through trial and error, he's come to understand what his body needs while playing. One of the trainers always has his cell phone on the sideline, which monitors his blood sugar levels while he's playing. He checks it every quarter. And he says the best snack, you guys, yes, these Sour Patch Kids, and I've been trying so hard not to eat them down here, but I have plenty for him.
I was going to say, Claire, you said that they could be a sideline snack for a reporter. What do you mean they could be? Yeah. You were hammering the Sour Patch Kids earlier.
Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you flat out. Claire showed you an untouched bag of Sour Patch Kids. I was down there before the game even started. There's another bag that was open. She was all over it.
She gets to expense Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Wild. Eberhardt, a unique challenge. You know, you come off the field and you think, oh, we got to get to the tablet and start breaking down. What did we do wrong in zone? He's like, no, I got all sorts of things to deal with. Is down the middle of the field. Berryhill, incomplete. Milton right there on the coverage. Rourke pushing the ball vertically as the wind has faded completely as of right now.
Yeah, Berryhill coming out of the slot here. He's going to use that waggle to hit it full speed. Try and catch the DB flat-footed. Milton doing a nice job on the break to stay with him. Berryhill just unable to adjust to that ball a little bit behind him.
Third punt of the second half here. Now for both teams, and this one for the BC Lions as it gets away. Berryhill, 4 catches for 23 yards. Second leading receiver on the Lions here tonight, behind the monster effort of Keon Hatcher and Justin McInnes, but a missed opportunity certainly for Berryhill down the middle of the field. Could have been a big one, but Milton right there on the coverage. 11-point ball game in the fourth. Moon rising up above TD Place here in Ottawa. The first game of a home-and-home between these two clubs is the rematch coming up for you next week. Ottawa has to go on the road out to Vancouver. And Matthew Betts back on the field for the BC Lions and ready to rush. Dustin Crum here in the fourth as Crum stands in off his back foot. He completes this one, and Justin Hardy makes the grab, crosses the 55, and adds to his career receiving mark coming into tonight of already 3,383 yards. He is productive.
Ottawa doing a little bit better job here of maintaining the momentum after putting some points on the board. Dustin Crum stands in under pressure, hanging in long enough to make that delivery to Hardy.
Ottawa receivers trying to communicate at the line as Stanback runs the other direction, doesn't care about what Ottawa's trying to figure out on the field side. Just hammer that thing into the boundary, runs through a couple of arm tackles, and another 16-yard gain.
And William Stanback showing he's still got those quick feet. His longtime teammate Eugene Lewis, those two together in Montreal, reunited here in Ottawa. Lewis doing a nice job blocking for his old partner in crime on the outside.
Crum with the hard count. BC doesn't jump. Screen to Pimpleton and cuts it back across the 30. As banging back and forth in behind the play. No flags thrown. And it will set up second down and less than a yard.
Khalil Pimpleton, we've seen him with some big plays in the return game this season. You know, Ottawa. The Red Blacks pick up the first down.
And Addison just got thrown over the top of the pile. I think that was Christophe Beaulieu. He was into it on the last play as well. It was Beaulieu, second-year man out of Laval, and Anderson didn't appreciate getting tossed over the top.
Take another look at the Red Blacks pick up the first down.
And Addison just got thrown over the top of the pile. I think that was Christophe Beaulieu. He was into it on the last play as well. It was Beaulieu, second-year man out of Laval, and Anderson didn't appreciate getting tossed over the top.
Take another look at the end of that play. Yeah, a couple of shoves back and forth between Addison and Beaulieu. Like a bit of a Hollywood fight scene there.
Yeah, nothing like the super slow-mo as they flop over the top. Full revolution on the pile as the replay center looks it over. It looks like Beaulieu will be the offending party in the debacle.
A 10-yard misconduct penalty against BC number 29. First down.
So a fresh set of downs here. And the 3-8 Ottawa Redblacks trailing by 11. Nearing the midway point of the fourth quarter, trying to get another major. Crum dances his way through, and then he gets tracked down. As tremendous job by the pass rush. Looked like Toure that time got as deep as the quarterback. Dwayne turned around, realized he had to get back upfield.
Yeah, peeling back, retracing his steps, preventing Crum from getting a clean escape from the pocket. Watch as Crum looks to step up here. They get just enough of him closing down that gap. He has to step over the leg of his offensive lineman. And Toure doing a nice job working back to the line of scrimmage to make that play. Limit the gain to 1.
Justin Hardy tonight passing Jock Climby for 9th all-time among Ottawa Football Club receivers. We'll see if they go to Hardy here as he's in motion on 2nd and long. Crum rolls to his right, gets away, looks for his second rushing touchdown to the night. Big collision at the goal line. necessary. Dustin Crum tries to keep the Red Blacks in the football game on Friday night.
And this is what we said at the end of the third quarter. It may take a little bit of 2023 Dustin Crum running recklessly. Great job. You see how he got both hands there and protected the football, knowing the collision was coming. He's in critical field position. Secures the ball, breaks the plane, and pulls his team within 5.
And the offense stays there. Looks like they'll go for 2. And you look at Dustin Crum, you go, he's 6'1", 202. He's listed at. How can you run with that much power? Well, we were talking to Khalil Pimpleton this week. At the end of the interview, Claire Anna asked, hey, tell me something about your quarterback. Like, what's Dustin like? He goes, he squats 300 pounds every day after a game.
Yeah.
He's in the weight room.
Yeah, just getting loose after the game.
Right. As Crum trying to make those squats pay off. This time he'll hand it off and spinning in for 2. So forget about the missed extra point from Lewis Ward earlier on. Williams Stanback, aided by a couple of penalties on the BC Lions defense. And the legs of Dustin Crum have put Ottawa right back in the middle of this one. Can't stop, won't stop. Dustin Crum into the end zone. The Ottawa Redblacks needed a drive, and they got one. Over the middle, it began with Justin Hardy making moves. William Stanback churning out some yardage against his old club from Vancouver. And found eventually Dustin Crum doing what he seems to always do in the biggest moment strike in a football game.
Taking the team on his back. Fighting his way in for the touchdown. Stanback with the 2-point conversion, and we have got ourselves a 3-point game.
7 minutes remaining, and Nathan Rourke about to get possession back. The kick drops down to the 25-yard line. McGee with the big return earlier on. And this time, they'll be tossed to the turf just outside the 45-yard line. Yeah, I think there's an injured BC Lion on the far side of the field. Lucas Cormier was in a one-on-one battle trying to block him. He asked for the training staff to come out and help the injured Lion who is down. Luke, what do you got on Nathan Rourke as we hit the 4th here with 7 minutes remaining?
You know, it's going to be very interesting here because I'm watching him walk out right now, and I'm sitting in between both sidelines, and Ottawa sidelines on fire right now. Obviously, it's a tight game, but the great players in these moments, they snatch that momentum right out of their pants, and you look at him, he looks cool, calm, collected. He's got to put the team on his back here, boys. You get a drive here and score, it will deflate this Ottawa team, and I think pretty much lead you to victory. You have a 2-and-out here, I'm telling you, I'm sitting right behind Ottawa's sideline after that touchdown. These boys are ready to go. So that man right there, I'm excited to see what he does here. This is a pivotal moment. I think he's going to drive down the field here. I think he's going to make some plays.
Are you finding that the rest of that Lions bench is kind of taking their cues from their quarterback right now, Luke?
Definitely. And again, it's kind of one of those things as an offense, as he goes, you know, they go. If you look what they've done today, there's been a lot of RPO. They've had some good runs, but even those runs, he has the ability to pull on. And I think, again, we talked earlier, if he makes those throws in this drive, they just got to catch him. This is why you pay him the big bucks. This is why he's Nathan Rourke, why he's one of the faces of this league. These are those moments. You're up 3, there's 7 minutes left. Drive the field here, get some points, take the win at Ottawa Sales.
Sitting at 18 of 26 for 236 yards. Great stuff, Luke, as always, is trying to get another 300-yard game notched on his belt here in 2025. He's done it in 7 of the last 8. Red Blacks fans trying to make it tough for the Canadian kid. 1st and 10. Rourke rolls left, gets his shoulders around and completes. It's Keon Hatcher Sr.
There's bread and butter stuff for the BC Lions. Take a look at the eyes of Nathan Rourke. Reads the defense. Keeps that ball, gets to the perimeter. Easy throw to Keon Hatcher.
I just love the smooth delivery, calm reaction. Next play, please. That's one of the things you love about the great quarterbacks is always ball comes out of their hand and already thinking about the next one.
And Rourke kind of quieting the crowd with that first down play. You know, but as Luke said, you kind of look to your quarterback to set the tone a little bit at a time where the BC Lions, a couple penalties defensively on the last series, maybe guys losing their heads, but Rourke seeming to settle things down with the offense out there.
Andrew Pearson, extra offensive lineman in the ball game, and now the pass rush gives chase. A flag comes down in the backfield, defensive backfield, I should say, as Rourke tossed down onto the TD Place turf.
Keep an eye. There may have been a tone a little bit at a time where the BC Lions, a couple penalties defensively on the last series, maybe guys losing their heads, but Rourke seeming to settle things down with the offense out there.
Andrew Pearson, extra offensive lineman in the ball game, and now the pass rush gives chase. A flag comes down in the backfield, defensive backfield, I should say, as Rourke tossed down onto the TD Place turf.
Keep an eye. There may have been a
face mask, Ottawa, number 75. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, Jelly just reaching, trying to get there. The right hand gets on the face mask. And it's a tough break, as so many of those, I mean, are unintentional, but nonetheless, the right call. It hurts the Red Blacks.
Robert Priester blitzed on the last play, was picked up by James Butler, but takes a knee for a moment here. Have a conversation with the training staff. Jelly's been active tonight. I mean, Cleon Lang's out of the lineup. A couple of big injuries in the trenches for the Ottawa Redblacks coming off the bye week. In the game they had 2 weeks ago against Edmonton, with Lang down and out. And on the other side, Darius Bladdock as well.
Again, the Red Blacks kind of rotating some Canadians through at different positions. Aiden John now into the game at defensive end.
It's Aiden Eberhardt at the bottom of your screen. Wonder if he's got another big play. 20.2 yards per catch coming in. And a flag comes up again on 1st and 10. And BC's offense walking backwards.
Holding BC, number 64. It's 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Corey Woodruff has the call go against him, and Buck Pierce has to dig into the play calling sheet and find a solution.
Still first down, but now 20 yards to go. We'll see what the Red Blacks do defensively here.
Devon Santos Knox ready to go. Shakur Brown as well playing on that field corner side. Rourke takes the run, gets it outside. Berryhill trying to turn the corner, and McInnes. That was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place on that one, Dwayne, the way that blocking is set up in 2025 in the CFL.
Yeah, can't come outside in to make a play. He's basically just got to make the smart decision. You're already backed up with penalties. Pass it up. Stanley Berryhill's got to be his own blocker on that play.
And very much already in Sean White's field goal range. Of course, important to try and extend this lead, make it more than a field goal difference. We'll see how aggressive Rourke is here on 2nd and long. Underneath, they'll be short of the marker, but Javon Katoy makes the grab. That's his first of the evening, his third target, and Buck Pierce thinking about going for it here. Didn't exactly rush to send out the field goal unit, but now White trots off the sideline.
Big Javon Catoy lining up on the inside as they go quads. That side of the field. Coverage backed off as you often get. In a long yardage situation, just turns and presents a target.
Javon Catoy is one of my favorite examples of guys that you go, yeah, he's big and he's strong. When you're actually down on the field pregame, you go, oh, he's big and he's like, that's a big dude.
Yeah, they don't call him Big Cat just because he needed a catchy nickname.
Khalil Pimpleton stands back. White lines it up from 37 yards away. 3 for 3 on the night. Can he remain perfect? He can. On the money as always for number 10. And a 36-27 lead with 4:01 remaining. Well, it's set up perfectly for a little Dustin Crum challenge to come through. 33-27, I should say.
Yeah, so forcing Ottawa into a situation of needing a touchdown, but also leaving an opportunity for Dustin Crum and Ottawa to go ahead if they're successful and can convert.
Crum shakes off the right arm, gets loose, and ready to go to work. Three-man rush. Everyone dropping out and finding the open receiver, but popped out.
It's a play that reminds you how wide the Canadian field is.
No kidding.
You think this is just a 15-yard throw, but all the way out to the sideline. I'm not doing the trigonometry on this, but ball traveling in the air for a long time allows the defender to close, and what looked like an easy completion when the ball was first thrown, the quickness of Robert Carter, that play is broken up.
Justin Hardy, that thing must have felt like it was hanging for 3-4 seconds waiting to get to him on the sideline. Crum stepped into it, but not there quick enough. Get your binocs out. Plenty to focus on, especially in the trenches here in the closing stages in Ottawa. Over the middle, and now finding Hardy running free through the secondary all the way down to the 40-yard line. It's an Ottawa first down and into BC territory.
And Dustin Crum again standing in as the Lions send the blitz. White jersey's closing on him, and he puts it on the money to Justin Hardy.
It's a 29-yard gain. Crum right now 20 of 27 for 219. It's his 21st completion of the ballgame. Keelan White, the rookie, spins away. Christophe Beaulieu flies down from free safety to make the play. The Ottawa REDBLACKS have an opportunity here, sitting at 3-8. Slow starting, 1 point in their last 6 games in the first quarter. But they have been closers, and their quarterback has been a master of it in his time in the Canadian Football League. Plenty of banging on Friday Night Football between the REDBLACKS and Lions. The Ottawa REDBLACKS dearly need to battle their way back into the East Division at this point. Big one between Hamilton and Montreal tomorrow, as they are the top 2 in the East Division right now. Toronto with the surprising, shocking victory on Labor Day in the Classic. But yeah, Ottawa trying to make their way through this, and the crossover very much alive here in week number 14 of the CFL season. It's second down and 6. 50-50 on second down conversions so far here tonight. And Crum with pressure on, tries to spin away. Did the ball pop out? Regardless, that pass rush took advantage of the 3-minute warning to charge up and get after Crum in the backfield.
BC defensive line that's been huge, particularly in the first half of this ball game, gets after it in a critical moment there. 3-man rush to Tavai getting a push. He's down on the ground just holding on.
And get pushed at a field goal range as well. All important from that defensive line as Richie Leone tries to hammer this one down to the 12-yard line. McGee pushed out of bounds as we have the debut of Wilson's game ball. And who else would it go to after the last snap, Luke, than the BC Lions defensive line?
Yeah, the BC Lions defensive line tonight was all over the place. Even right there, you know, looks like a little momentum, and the boys made plays. They stopped the run for the most part. I thought they were very, very disruptive early, and they've really given a hard time to Crum. Crum's had to kind of scramble for his life, and they've been physical. Look at these boys coming downhill, and they're excited. They're jacked up. Again, the run game, they're coming through. I can't say enough. I was trying to find one guy, whether it was Tavai, Toure. We're giving it to the whole unit right now. I was very impressed by the tenacity they played with today. And even the 27 points, 7 of those, I think they had a 5-yard field. So all in all, I thought it was a great night for them.
Yeah, that is a tough unit and banged up as well. It got some different bodies than they expected to have in that spot. All right, Luke, you got to pick one. You got to pick one. I get it's Wilson's game ball.
I would go with Tavai. I would say Tavai has been very disruptive, especially on some of the early downs. I know they're not things that show up on highlights, but when you're sitting there and everyone's got it blocked up and he obviously knifes a gap, and now instead of 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5, it's 2nd and 9. It's a huge play that is not a highlight, but means a lot to the film room and the defensive coaches.
Yeah, he's been very noticeable tonight, no question. You know, this defensive line came into the game.
After the play, we have a 15-yard UR misconduct penalty against BC number 54. Be 2nd down.
Another discipline-type penalty. It's going to back the BC Lions right up here.
Andrew Pearson, 54, right in the middle of your screen there in a battle. And he gets pushed back and forth and decides he wants the last touch. And it was at the end of the play as well, which was a loss of a gain of 1, I should say, and back 15, 2nd and 24. And deep in their own end, and Rourke's got to deal with the uprights and the crowd and the down and the distance. 6 receivers out, goes into the boundary. Keon Hatcher Sr. gets chopped down before he could get to the marker. I feel like Rourke basically had to work that half of the field based on where he was.
Yeah, with the goalpost, tough to get a ball out to the wide side. You risk throwing it off that post. You don't have much of a lane.
Timeout, Ottawa.
This is a situation where obviously it's a significant uphill battle to pick up 1st down yardage in that situation, but the chunk they got, given the game situation, critical to get out from under the goalpost, not have a chance to actually kick the ball out of your own end of the field here with Carl Meyer and the punt team on.
Khalil Pimpleton said during the bye week he went back home, saw his niece. She's 7 months old now, and said, do you feel like you're Superman? You got some superpowers to your niece and your nephews? Yeah, people see clips on social media and word gets around about things that have happened. He's got a chance to be a superhero right now for Red Blacks fans with 2:15 remaining. He can get the wheels turning north-south, makes the first man miss, then cuts back, and a solid return from Pimpleton to set up Ottawa's offense with an opportunity to steal this one away as Dustin Crum hits the turf once again.
Dustin Crum really seems to be in his groove when he starts using his legs to make some things happen. Luke, would you make any kind of adjustment here?
Yeah, right now, I know I keep saying this, but with the way this defensive line is playing, they're stunting on pass downs, they're pirating in and slanting on early downs. I would really try and move the pocket. And I know he's been scrambling with his legs, but I would love to see a little misdirection early here. You know, maybe a little play action, whatever it is, in the end, and get him outside so he can throw it down the field or scramble. That would be my go-to call right off the bat. But they haven't done it much today, so I'm not sure I'm expecting it.
And we'll see what they decide to dial up. And Drew Brown has been firmly planted directly over the shoulder of Tommy Condell throughout the evening, as Riley Pickett is the injured BC Lion down getting attention on the far side of the field.
I was sure that Luke was going to say 5 tight ends.
Listen, there's a, if you can get them to match there, Dwayne, you put your big boys out there, get them to match.
Heavy play action.
If one of them all of a sudden you split them out wide, especially with a waggle in this league, now you might have a matchup.
I want to see a team that you guys coach.
Don't tempt me with a good time here, boys. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Fullbacks and tight ends galore.
No question.
As Pickett makes his way to the sideline, and Dustin Crum stands in the huddle right now. Sure, talking things over, trying to motivate the group, trailing by 6 points.
Well, defensive line's got the game ball. They got to really earn it here.
Addison, Hardy, Keelan White, and Gino Lewis on the field, and it's a jailbreak. Dustin Crum never had a chance.
Well, the Lions send the heat. Jalen Edwards-Cooper coming on the secondary blitz. Times it up, unblocked man. Mike Benavides saving something a little special for the end of the game here.
I was going to say, how about the decision to, in that situation, not sit back and wait for it, but get after Crum with the blitz. Now he can just rush 3. And they sit back in zone coverage. Underneath, Crum goes. It's Keelan White. Crosses midfield. Flag comes out at the end of the play. And is Khalil Pimpleton on the ground apologizing to his own sideline. It's a gain of 16 right now, but Pimpleton immediately turned to Bob Dice in the Ottawa sideline and started tapping his chest, saying, "My fault."
Okay. Yeah, I think Pimpleton is trying to, after the catch, trying to get a block. Try and get Keelan White to that first down marker. Watching the very right side of your screen. Pimpleton comes in that outside in kind of blindside shot.
Walked him right into the feet as well of Keelan White. So messy ending to that one. And yeah, he made the block and immediately turned to the sideline.
He knows it, just desperately trying to make a play. It's hard to fault a guy for that effort.
Yeah. And also the fact that you try to coach that out, but that's kind of grandfathered in, where that's from the time that Khalil Pimpleton's growing up. That's football.
Yeah.
Get a block. But it's done for player safety, obviously, because you see the mess that it can create.
We have a blindside block against Ottawa, number 83. It'll be 15 yards at the end of the play, 3rd down.
Buck Pierce was all over it as well.
Yeah, so get a big chunk, but give that chunk right back. Once again, as you said, based on early alignment, again, anticipate 3-man rush and just take away those windows.
Sit back and wait for Crum to let it go, as you see the spy there from Josh Woods watching on and throwing it over the head of 2 receivers, incomplete. And a turnover on downs with 91 seconds remaining.
Yeah, just not much there with 9 guys dropping in coverage. Crum buying time against the 3-man rush. Josh Woods spying. He doesn't want to overcommit on Crum. He's going to basically force him to throw it rather than giving him any opportunity to run.
Nowhere to go with the football that time as Jackson Finley in coverage. The rookie second-round pick out of Western.
Where? Sorry?
Little school down the road in London. Bob Dice watches on. Great field position here for the Lions as Ottawa's got to come after it. But James Butler don't go anywhere. Crazier things have happened. Pimpleton returned to Sergio Castillo. Missed 50-yard plus field goal back a couple of weeks for a game changer that tied things up. Looked like that was going to overtime. Finishes in the final 3 minutes. Quarterback of our Montreal-Hamilton game for the Alouettes. Coming up tomorrow. James Morgan said, yeah, last 3 minutes, the great equalizer. One of the aspects he truly loves about the CFL, but you got to get a stop right now if you're the Red Blacks defense. Butler gets the carry. Ottawa's defense does its job. And does Sean White come out to try and make this a two-score game?
Lions are going to take their time making decision over there. And it's interesting as you watch the bodies coming out to join the field goal team in this instance.
Yep.
Not big bodies for protection as much as linebacker types to get down there in coverage. I mean, Sean White he's kind of money, but
also
life in the CFL.
The man that just took the penalty that set them back on third down has a chance to return this if it's missed. And it is. Sean White was 4 for 4, but he misses. And Khalil Pimpleton has the football in his hands and returns it all the way up the sideline. And now flags come out for what's likely a late hit out of bounds. That should advance it 15 yards. And Ottawa's in business with 33 seconds remaining.
As I said, anything can happen. This one drifts just wide right. Pimpleton, big return. Carl Meyer, the holder on that play. With the late hit.
Unnecessary roughness, BC, number 17. 15 yards from the end of the play, first down Ottawa.
Well, Mike Benavides came after it on first down on the last drive. Sean White wishing he could have that one back. He missed, but just barely to the right. So they bounce this up 15 yards. Meyer watches on.
I mean, the Lions, in terms of personnel, in prevent mode. Essentially 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 7 defensive backs on the field.
All about coverage here as Crum with Woods spying him sitting in the middle of the field. Crum leans into one, has a shot down the field. Pimpleton hangs on at the 10-yard line.
And Khalil Pimpleton steps up huge. The double move to the outside, ducks back in. Perfectly thrown ball from Dustin Crum. 25 seconds to go, Marsh.
Means nothing if they don't finish with a touchdown. Crum looks left, comes back right. Open receiver, thrown in behind, but Gino Lewis is in the end zone, and we have a tie ball game on a 2-play touchdown drive.
Cue the Crum back.
The ebbs and flows of the final 3 minutes in the Canadian Football League, undefeated no matter who wins.
Well, good protection there for Dustin Crum. It's tough to bet against Gino Lewis. You get in that red zone.
We're going to Big L's, baby. 645, red line.
A critical kick still to come.
Sean White watches on. White leads the CFL in field goal percentage, coming in with a 96.3% mark. All time, he's #1. Lewis Ward all time is #3 in accuracy. White missed. Can Ward connect? The kick is up, and the Red Blacks have their first lead in the last 3 games with 17 seconds remaining.
An Ottawa team that came into this game with a record of 0-7 when trailing after 3 quarters has come back to take the lead. They have to hold on to it for 17 more seconds.
And the aeronautical engineer, Dustin Crum, takes flight. Deep shot down the right sideline to Khalil Pimpleton after Pimpleton had the big return to give them a little bit of life, some hope against all odds, and fit in perfectly between Edwards Cooper and Christophe Beaulieu. And a strike to TD Gino, who raises the roof here at TD Place.
And how about Khalil Pimpleton on the heels of the long return? Bounce right back up and be the target on the deep ball.
Now Lewis Ward sends it into the air. Don't forget the Labor Day Classic Monday, Hamilton, Toronto. Big return got things going. As the coverage unit down the field, and General Manager Sean Burke watching on as the Red Blacks trying to get their 4th victory of the season. You see the score by quarter. Ottawa had dug themselves a massive hole and found their way back in.
Yeah, it's not just the 18 fourth quarter points, but 31 second half points for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Nation still believes, and those that stayed until the final snaps of this one rewarded. Sean White's career long field goal is 55 yards. Can Nathan Rourke get him into range? This one knocked down at the line of scrimmage. 6 seconds left on the clock.
Now the Ottawa defensive line taking its turn.
Timer, please reset the clock to 7 seconds.
Getting some instructions to Nathan Rourke to relay to his receivers.
Leading receiver is Justin McInnes with 148 yards. Rourke, deep drop, loads it up, gets vertical. It's Berryhill in traffic. And was it intercepted? The defense steps up for the Ottawa REDBLACKS to close this one out.
Yeah, Rourke loads it up. He's looking deep here. Berryhill's going down the middle of the field. The 2 defenders converge. Mark Milton comes down with it to seal the win.
What a play by the Ottawa defense. They make the biggest play when it mattered the most. And Dustin Crum and the Ottawa offense find their way back into this one. Crum is with Claire.
Well, it's absolute mayhem on the sidelines right now. Dustin, with less than 40 seconds left, you guys take the field. What's going through your mind to win the game?
Just give my guys a shot. Read the play out. Tommy dialed it up. KP ran a great route, came down with it, and then Gino finished it off. So just executing, giving my guys chances when they get them, and they made the plays.
Tell me about that deep ball to Khalil. How precise did that have to be?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good coming out of my hand, and he's the kind of guy where you don't really worry about overthrowing him. He can run for days, so just put it out there, let him go get it, and like I said, he made the play.
Dustin, you also had 2 rushing touchdowns yourself in this game. Just how important were your feet to you tonight?
Yeah, they did a really good job taking things away, so at times I had to use my legs probably a little more than I would like to, but just doing whatever I got to do to win, just coming out here and fighting with my guys.
Congratulations on a massive win, Dustin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire. Dwayne, final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to find a way, and you need your playmakers to make big plays. Dustin Crum stepped up. Khalil Pimpleton stepped up. The Ottawa REDBLACKS managed to get it done. Huge win for this team.
What a way to kick off week number 14 in the Canadian Football League after an absolutely bonkers Labor Day weekend. The Ottawa REDBLACKS and the BC Lions come off of bye weeks, and the final 3 minutes, oh, they always deliver. 4th win of the season for the REDBLACKS.